Grumble, grumble. Hey everyone, it's the Grumpy Meeple, and I am coming back at you with another Chronicles of Drunagor related video. This time, unfortunately, it's going to be something a little bit different for the channel because there are some things I'm not too happy about with the update pack in particular. So we're going to go through kind of the issues that I see with this update pack and hopefully kind of lay out the ways that these kinds of mistakes could be avoided in the future. All right, so right now you should be seeing a blank, empty screen, the blackness of the void. And that is to encapsulate my first issue with this update pack, which is that there are no instructions for how to use this update pack in the box that I received. So this is a huge problem to me because creative game studios shouldn't be assuming that every single person who owns this game or wanted or needed the upgrade pack was going to be hawkishly watching their updates on the Apocalypse campaign and would notice that there are digital instructions on how to update your set. It's just not, that's just probably not true, and I found it off-putting right from the bat that they didn't include any kind of instructions in the box. It's just a giant pile of rulebooks and cards and tiles with nothing to guide your average person who, I don't know, maybe they wanted to work on this update pack and integrating it while they were on vacation. Maybe they went up to a cabin and they don't have internet access. And if they did, they're going to be out of luck because they're going to need that internet access to get to the pretty crappy instructions that they did provide on their website, which we're going to get to next. All right, so here we are looking at the update pack instructions that they did provide via PDF or whatever the F this is. And they linked to in a previous update as well as their most recent one. So here's something that's really irritating to me. This has already been updated since I used it over the weekend. These images related to the hero boards and the monster, the runes, this stuff was not here when I went through this. It was just a plain text file, basically. I just found it to be irritating that they had altered this since the time that I had used it, like on Sunday night. So that's kind of an annoyance in and of itself. On top of that, though, this is just a really garbage set of instructions. It is nowhere near detailed enough to successfully and easily integrate this stuff into your existing copy of Chronicles of Drunagor. So first of all, the instructions are very vague. Replace all 3 big books. Okay, great, thanks. Store some map tiles, add some map tiles. Even, there are problems here. We'll talk about that in a minute. Folding doors. Again, very generic. There's no itemized list of exact components that need to be replaced. They did add this table for the tokens, but again, that wasn't even there when I used this. I don't need it because I store my tokens separately, but even still. The card list, this is just an abomination because they didn't replace all the cards in this game, which is another point we're going to talk about. And so that is super annoying too. This should be an ordered list of every single card and the card that it replaces. And the fact that it's so general, replace all monster cards with the new ones. And because some of these things, it'll say replace all, but you're not replacing all, or you're adding some, or you have less than you had previously. It's insanely confusing. Could have been easily avoided by just listing everything, or printing everything anew and just telling people, trash everything that you have. This is the new stuff. That's what Madara did, and that's like the best update pack I've ever seen. It was exhaustive. It had extensive instructions right in the box on exactly what to do, and the bottom line was you trash every card in that game and replace them all. This one you're picking and choosing. They all look exactly the same. There is no iconography on the cards to indicate which is from version 1 and which is from version 1.5, which is an absolute freaking disgrace, because even that would have made it easier. But I'm sitting here and I don't, from moment to moment, I got a lot going on. I'm thinking about a lot of stuff. I got 2 piles of cards in front of me, the new ones and the old ones. I can't even remember which is which, and I have no way of verifying which is which, other than a vague sense that this kind of looks different, I don't remember this, or just like a gamble, and then I better save all these other goddamn cards because I might have picked the wrong ones. So these instructions are terrible. It's just nowhere near enough for a set where you're replacing all this stuff, because it's not just cards. You've got to replace the books, the map tiles, the folding doors, hero boards, blah, blah, blah. You keep most of that stuff. And here, why do they even... They note hero boards, monster status boards, tokens, and runes. But they don't ever mention any of this stuff again. Why is this even here? Just say freaking tokens and runes. It's super confusing. And so I just couldn't be more disappointed with the guidance that they provided for how to use this update pack. So maybe you're thinking I'm being too hard on CGS with this update pack. Let's take a look specifically at the instructions for replacing the tiles. So if you take a look here, you can see that it instructs you to add map tiles E11 through E14, C9, and C10. Here's an image of my C9 tiles. There are 2 of them because there is already a C9 tile in the set. So they're telling you to add a map tile, but they don't tell you, it's not in the replace map tile list, it's in the add map tile list. And this, again, it's just super lazy. This is just a poorly edited, thrown together document. It looks like what happened to me was they forgot that they have to tell people how to use this thing, and they shipped it without it, and then they panicked and threw something together and had it thrown together by somebody who just didn't give it the kind of time that it deserved. Because these kinds of discrepancies are all over this document, and they can be really confusing. I'm at the point where I just saved everything from the old version. I separated most of it out, with the exception of the tiles, because there are pictures of the tiles on the door cards and in the instructions. So you're unlikely to use the wrong C9 tile, and even if you did, they're the same shape, they're very similar. But just the fact that I could pick out a discrepancy like that without any effort, just while I'm going through their own documentation, is super embarrassing for them. And then the final thing that really annoyed me, and I know I've seen people mention other minor irritants with this update pack, the fact that they add cards without, like, brand new card sets without any context is super annoying. But the final thing that really pissed me off was that they didn't update their quick start guide. This was a really cool part of the original Chronicles of Drunagor kind of learning experience. I really appreciated that they had this start here guide that walks you step by step through your first couple of rounds of combat and getting set up with your character. Now, this was a very flawed document. It was riddled with grammatical errors, with actually really confusing like screenshot errors that made the rules not make sense because things would be positioned in such a way that what they were telling you to do, it wasn't even actually possible. But I was really hoping that they would take another crack at it and update it and make it better, and they didn't. It just isn't in the box. I haven't looked yet to see if there's a digital version of it, and to be honest, I don't care. It should have been in the box. It desperately needed to be updated, and so I wish that they had updated it. And so that's basically all I had. I mean, I could harp on this thing all day. You're looking at a screenshot of the errata for the Age of Darkness remake, which is kind of what I thought the update pack was supposed to be, but apparently not, because they found a bunch more mistakes even after they printed the remake and the update pack, which, you know, your mileage may vary on how annoying that is to you. The bottom line is, I just wish they would have put a little more care and thought and time into getting this update right the first time, not needing to put out an errata afterwards, and just making it less painful to integrate this stuff into the game, because I love this game. I'm super excited that I got the remake errata or update or whichever because I really like the game, and I stopped playing it as soon as I heard that they were doing an update pack because, you know, I figured why not play it on the most current version. And so I'm glad I got it, but man, it was a real time sink to get it integrated into the game in a way that I was like comfortable that I basically had the right stuff. And I do wish that it hadn't been so hard. So that's all I had to say for today. Still love you, Creative Game Studios. It's still an awesome game. That's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later.